And then he doesn't bring his swimming trunks.
Neither did I, to be fair. We blew it.
$100 Whistler swimming trunks later.
They were 71 Canadian.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, just wear your underwear. Goodness
Canadian.
gracious.
Yeah.
But they're incredible. They have pineapples on them, so
They're made out of carbon.
need I say more? Yeah, they're Boost. What else? That would have been a great intro to the podcast, but oh, you are recording. Oh, brilliant.
Ain't my first rodeo there, Paul. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Joey Podcast, the BC Bike Race Podcast with just Paul. Oh, wait, never mind. All right, the podcast with one guy who eats far too much, one guy who drinks too much, LaCroix, and one guy who thinks he's so cool for racing cross country and continually shaving his entire body.
I thought that said he's too cool for racing cross country, and I was like, who's too cool for racing? Is it me? Am I too cool to race cross country? I guess not. But yeah.
Well, we all know it's not me or Shane. We are certainly not the first mountain bike podcast? We are certainly not the first mountain bike podcast, nor will we be the last, but this is ours. We talk about everything mountain biking related, just not seat angles and stroke lengths, unless Paul is absent. Then we get into the details. Today on the show we have with us, starting off from Colorado in his garage, home today, is the man himself.
Hey, I'm Shane, the crashing dad.
Nice.
Wow, that was just like a normal voice.
Just pretty normal over here.
Okay.
We're maturing, guys. Finally, 9 podcasts in. Next up from Whistler, BC, who still needs to clear all of A-Line.
Yeah. I'm sure the first time I did it in 2014.
2014, Paul. I want to bring that guy back.
You want to bring him back. I want to bring him back. He was fucking cool. He was great.
And, of course, myself, Josh. So let's jump in. First thing is we like to start off every podcast by reading comments on last week's podcast, which was actually 2 weeks ago. We had another beautiful piece of clickbait, carbon versus aluminum bikes and bike parts.
Fantastic clickbait, by the way.
Yeah, and
I was heartbroken to not be in that particular clickbait, but I know that the clickbait rules all. So.
You know, we had RC over here in my garage, if you missed it.
You gay, Raj.
People were loving it. I will say in the comments, people are all about that RC from Outdoor Gold.
He's great.
Yeah.
I feel like I should apologize for blowing it last week, because the reason there was no podcast last week was my fault. I am fully accepting that it was my fault and I blew it. And I bumped into someone today, guys, it's happening. I bumped into someone today, and the first thing they said to me was, I love the podcast.
There's at least one fan listening. Thank
Wow.
you.
There we go. What was his name?
Paul's mom.
Louis. His name was Louis.
If you don't remember his name, he's not going to listen anymore. So thank you for remembering, Paul.
I know, that's what I was thinking. So I was like, crap, better remember it.
All right, let's jump into the comments. The first one is just so beautiful. It's from Pokey, spelt with a 0 and a 3. He says, Canadair is greater than colon.
Canadair is that what the Canada? No, okay.
It's an Australian thing.
Paul,
I wouldn't understand. No, I wouldn't understand.
Paul, obviously you understand colon because we covered that, but Canadair.
Colon was amazing.
so great, Pokey. Next one, Colin says, looking for a new bike in... Oh, this is jumping into the clickbait. I apologize. Colin said, looking for a new bike and tried a carbon bike, which felt great, but your conversation has me thinking, are my mediocre skills worth the extra $800 over aluminum?
Wait, that's a pound sign.
Yeah, well, 800 pounds, $800.
Very different.
True.
The Queen Sterling is doing rather well.
But I love that he asked the question, right? Are my mediocre skills worth the extra money? And he goes, nah, probably not.
Unless that carbon fiber bike is a Scott, in which case, yes, it's 100% worth the extra money.
Remember, Paul, we can't talk too boldly about any sponsors because the podcast is not yet sponsored. So I am enjoying this lovely drink that I would love to get sponsored by.
That bubbly is really nice. It's my favorite as well.
How dare you? This is LaCroix, Paul. Get your facts straight.
this is also an audio podcast. Maybe people have no idea what
Oh, true.
Well, so he was talking about carbon versus alloy, and so were we. And you'll be proud of me. I actually watched the downhill racing thing. I can't remember what it's called.
Ooh, from Leger.
Yes, the less
wait. I love that. Shane goes, I was watching the downhill racing thing, and Paul's like, oh, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, the one that less gets. And I believe the winning bike was an aluminum bike, correct?
Aluminium.
Did I just spoil it for you?
No, I did manage to watch that. I watched it trying to recover from the race the next day. It was the perfect thing to come on. I was
right off of XC into downhill racing.
Yeah, exactly. Just getting ready for the next discipline I need to take down. Yeah.
Just washed it out of your hair. I will say I enjoyed it. As like a regular dude who's never really watched it before, it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I can see why you get all hot and bothered about it.
Yeah, it's funny. All the top women seem to be falling by the wayside at the minute, which is pretty crazy. There's
breaking stuff.
It's just Tracy left. It's just Tracy left standing. I'd say there's like 4 like really fast women, faster than all the others, and there's only one left, and it's Tracy. All the others seem to be injured. But I actually seem to be going backwards with my downhill racing. And that I was almost like, I just feel like watching the top 10. Whereas normally I would sit there for the whole thing.
Welcome to my life, Paul.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, maybe these guys are right.
You know, it was really cool to be like, oh, that was fast. And then no one else is as fast for like 10 riders. And then someone breaks it. And you're like, oh, no way it can get faster. And it just gets faster and faster and faster. And oh, man, slapping me silly. I am a fan now.
Yeah. Huge shout out to Brendan Fairclough coming out of nowhere, really.
Yeah.
6th. And he did say he's had 8 podiums, and he says he wants to get to 10. And he almost had it as well. He was so close to actually getting on it, but that was pretty cool to see him getting back on.
Commitment, that's for sure.
On that Scott Gambler downhill bike, that looks great. Anyway,
well, back to the conversation. So, was the winning bike a Commencal? Is that right, Shane?
Yeah, it was one of the French dudes,
Amaury Pirion.
Yeah,
Amaury Pirion. All right, next up, Mike's Rides mountain bike. He said, I feel like certain brands do aluminum bikes well, and some just make a version to have the price point in their list, which is a fair point, Mike. He said, I've held off on trying carbon rims because of all things that can fail in a spectacular fashion. Rims are ones I don't want to. It takes a lot to do more than dent a good aluminum rim, and carbon isn't really lighter when looking at trail wheels. Also a fair point. So if I never get used to the way carbon rims feel, I don't feel like I'm missing anything.
I can kind of agree with the principle of if I never try something, then I never get used to it.
Yeah.
I can agree. But I am starting to come around to the idea of carbon wheels, especially at a 29er.
Yeah. I have quite enjoyed mine, and maybe I've just got lucky I haven't broken, but we'll see. All right, last comment from the show last week.
This guy.
This troll just keeps coming back to haunt me. Jordan Boostmaster. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to give a second dislike in a row, solely for the fact that you consider riding a 26-inch bike as punishment. He goes, if that's what a Joey of the Week has to ride, then call me the Joey of the Year. Jordan, you get the title, man. No one's arguing. And he says, heck, I even wear jean shorts and stormtrooper pads. So there's that as well.
I mean, it's true. Like we can't argue with that.
Yeah. Jordan's like, screw all you guys. 26-inch wheels with stormtrooper pads and jean shorts, and I'm better than all of you. And we're all just like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Sure.
My money is on him for the race between all you guys.
Oh my God. We're going to have a press conference soon. That's something I really want to do.
Take all your shirts off and put your hands on each other's faces.
Seven ways.
If you're listening and watching and not aware, me, Paul, and I think about 5 other YouTubers are participating in the Whistler EWS 100, 100% of the EWS course, and of course the goal is to beat each other. So, my biggest bet is who's the first person who's going to have a EWS like losing. Sorry, they're going to have a fail that causes them to cancel or be out of the EWS. My money is right now on Jordan. I just have a feeling that guy's going to break something going mock chicken.
26-inch wheel. Actually, he's on 27 now, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
That guy.
he sure is. I'm having some issues with my derailleur unscrewing itself every 5 seconds right now.
Oh, yeah. It's just the main connection bolt? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it keeps popping out. I need to Loctite it. Apparently, there's a rule where you Loctite SRAM derailleurs but grease Shimano.
Oh, really?
Apparently, this is a thing in shops, they told me. So.
Oh, wow. My Shimano one did come loose recently as well, so who knows? All right, it's time for our favorite segment. It's the one we wait for, we dream about, and even sing to ourselves. Shane, are you ready?
Is it you? Is it me? It's definitely Paul.
This is a ruse, isn't it? I've been
just getting right to it, man.
I'm dead. I did not know that was coming, but I couldn't have planned that better myself.
I'm clean. I'm completely clean this week.
Speaking of derailleurs and derailleur hangers, I know you got a story. This is the BC Bike Race edition. I know it was more than a week ago, but come on.
Yeah,
let's hear the juicy details.
If you're not aware, this podcast, we realize, is basically going to be about the BC Bike Race with Paul.
I haven't even put it up. How many minutes are we in?
At minute 37. We got to wait.
Okay. But
I'm impressed, Paul, that you have not talked about it this far into the podcast. I commend you.
Well, I only ride park now. I have a 170 mil travel bike.
That sounded like the widest rapper. I only ride park now, guys.
I'm drinking beer again. It's like I've just gone back to the cool ways.
Drinking beer and Canadier.
All right,
that's the one.
So who, what, when, Aaron, Gwen, Paul? You didn't have any Joey moments in the last 3 weeks?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. So it's time to be vulnerable now, because that's what this podcast is.
Proud.
I felt, the first day I did a fully Joey move, and I messed up my eating. So the day one was split into like 2 stages, and between the first and the second stage, I stopped eating, basically. I tried eating different things, and that's what ruined the carb train. Is that a thing, Shane? You probably know more about it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
sure. Sounds right.
Yeah, I guess if you stop eating carbohydrates every 30 minutes, then it messes everything up. So, but I got back and I recovered for the next 3 days, and then we actually got put on a float plane, which you can see in Sid and Mackie's video today. They've already put theirs out. But in waiting for that float plane, they actually kept us there for 3 hours. And that was 3 hours standing up in the rain with no food or drink. And
welcome to the BC Bike Race, ready for everything.
And and I ended up arriving 30 minutes before the race start, and I hadn't eaten. Well, my breakfast, they told me, was I had to eat it at 6 a.m. and the race started at 11. So I hadn't eaten anything for getting on for 5 hours. And then the day was 57 kilometers of mountain biking, and that was 1,400 meters of climbing on the computer. So I died pretty heavily there and then. It was like gone. I think Brian put like 15 minutes into me on that day, and it was all over.
He had like the whole kitchen pantry on him, though. Why didn't you ask him?
Oh my god! Oh, he's too far in front. That's No, I tried, and then that night, instead of having 2 plates of dinner that I was having, I could barely manage one, and I was like, oh, this is done now. Like, it's gone. And then the next day, this is your technical point. So, and this is where the vulnerability comes in, because I actually started bawling my eyes out crying because, I was already bonking pretty hard, as I said, because like the nutrition wagon had kind of got derailed, and I was just going up this really small, like slight left-hand turn of a climb. And I must have got up, and then, when you kind of go, oh, I need a bit more power, so you stand up and you just give an extra hoof. at that moment, a small stick had decided to pop itself up, and my hanger completely ripped off.
Oh.
And I kind of pulled over, and there's no greater pain than 100 people asking you if everything is okay, but they obviously have no intention of stopping or doing anything. They can't do anything.
It's just polite.
Yeah. And then I did have a spare mech hanger, but it turns out I actually had the wrong mech hanger because apparently they make Shimano ones and SRAM hangers now.
Really?
Yeah, apparently so. Because if you look at your Shimano hanger, it's got like an extra thing. It's like an extra bit.
Oh, a little stopper. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got to make like direct versions, so you don't have to. Anyway, I'm sure it's better, but I didn't know. Anyway, and I actually, the way it whipped out, it actually put some damage to the frame, which was a real shame. This is all like pure circumstance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was just the lamest thing to do. And the patrol guy pulled over and he's like, "You okay?" And I went, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, it's you. Okay, I won't be so mean now."
Yeah.
And he even looked at it, and I was like, "I'm pretty sure even if I had a hanger, then it wouldn't help because it seems like the frame's been damaged."
Oh, the frame wasn't rideable?
Well, it turned out it was. I was concerned because it looked like the way it broke. It looked like I mean, it was the worst way that you can break a hanger, right?
Yeah.
It was just like full like with my legs and like there's nothing you can do. But it was fine because I got a hanger fixed the next day, and I actually had the best day of the week.
But didn't you end up walking like 20 kilometers or something?
Yeah. So what happened is,
man.
and you can see the full. I did remember to turn the GoPro on, even though I was like dying, and I was like, I just said to myself, just turn this GoPro on because you'll regret if you didn't. And I put it down, and I just left it, and I was trying to fix it and figure out what was going wrong because I looked at it and I had no idea what was broken. That was the weird thing, right? And then this patrol guy comes and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're done. Like, roll back down the hill and a quad will pick you up and it will take you to the finish and you're done." And I said, "No, I'm just going to walk." So
okay, why didn't you just make it a single speed? Throw it in like a
you couldn't
4 gears down.
Listen, you couldn't do anything. The hangers. So what happened was
you pull the whole derailleur off.
You can't. You couldn't do it. You can't do it. Just you couldn't do it because it's a vertical dropout. You can't get the tension unless you're like 1 in 100 times lucky.
Yeah, because if it's a little bit loose, Shane, like you can put it on a gear, but if it's a little bit loose, it'll like flop off.
I've done it. You want it to be a little bit loose for the suspension movement, and you lock out your shock.
Okay, but again, that's like pure circumstance luck.
Yeah.
Okay.
But man, you walked. I'll give you that. Holy cow.
Again, if you want to try figuring that out 6 days in when you've been doing 50 kilometers every day and you are like bonking hard and you want to try and figure that out, then be my guest.
Dude, I know what that stress is like on the side of the trail. Oh.
Yeah.
And Paul, just I promise I'm not asking this to make fun. I'm just like legitimately curious. Yeah. So did you have like your breakdown, like when that broke? Was that the moment that like that?
Oh yeah, that's when I was like, the tears came.
Yeah.
It was when they said like, the guy was like, "You're done, go back." I was like, are you kidding? Like this incident has ruined everything. That's why I was like, I'm just gonna walk. And then they said like, "Oh, you can go and get the Shimano at the next feed station. You could pick up a neutral Shimano bike." But I'd seen those bikes and I would rather walk my bike.
Really?
Yeah, like it didn't have a dropper post. I mean, they would have had to swap the brakes. Like,
oh yeah, your brakes.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, which I guess isn't too much of a problem, but like, you know, I'd spent so long getting this bike dialed and my bike was incredible. And I was just like, I'd rather push and ride the downhills and actually enjoy it after this Sufferfest. You know what I mean?
So what was your time for the whole thing, walking 20K?
Well, normally I was finishing kind of around, let's say like 220 out of 600. Yeah. And I still finished 407th out of 600.
Whoa.
Walking for, yeah.
What were people do? Like, if you were walking 20 kilometers, what were people doing?
Well, yeah, like, I mean, I'd already biked 30 something kilometers that day.
Yeah.
But there's people that come and do it. Like they're the same people that do marathons. Do you know what I mean? Like they just want to complete it. Whereas I was like, I want to try and get a good time.
No, you just wanted to beat Brian.
I did. After the first couple of days, on the first day, I mean, you'll see all of this, but he got a puncture, and I also bogged because I got my food wrong. But it also meant I was like 20 minutes in front of him. And then there was actually a battle happening because, as you've already seen in my first episode of the race, that he only beat me by 1 second in the prologue, which we were like, whoa. So yeah, it was pretty good. But no, that was really heartbreaking, and I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I didn't even talk to anyone for like 2 hours when the race is finished because I even had to be on the late ferry because I couldn't make the normal ferry that I would have made if I'd finished in the correct place. But oh well. And then I was just like, okay. And then the next day I had like the best day. And I actually they had a timed downhill. The Squamish video that I'm going to make, you guys are going to love it because I passed so many people on the descents. I'm just like I get kind of rude because I was over it.
Move.
Yeah, move.
No, you suck.
Stop. Like, because the thing is as well, like people won't stop when they're going down. They'll pull over if you're going up and you want to pass them. But I guess they just think like, oh, like the dip, there's not much. Like, I don't know.
It's because the guy going up is like, I want to break so bad. And anyone's like, can you please move? He's like, oh, yeah, sure. I'll be super nice. But on the way down, they're like, I'm not tired. I'm not pulling over. Screw you.
Yeah, there's some great passing footage for sure. But I managed to get a top 100 on the time descent, which I was quite pleased with. And I also had to pass 10 people on this one trail.
Now, did you beat Brian on that descent?
On the descent, no. He's still look, Brian. Like, here's the thing. I at one point I was riding with Brian on one of the days, and he was just charging the downs, like pumping everything, and I just thought, there's no way he can keep this up for 7 days. But turns out he could. That was the funniest bit. I was like, oh wow, okay, he has. But yeah, you'll see it all in the episode. I don't want to spoil it that much, but yeah. There we go.
Oh man,
that happened. It was pretty. As I say, it was pretty heartbreaking, especially if I dedicated so much time to it. Like if I bonked and I was tired, I was like, oh, I just messed up. I wasn't fit enough. But it was that mechanical. I just went, oh, you kidding? Like, could have happened to anyone. It was just the most innocuous thing as well.
Yeah, I would say like I would not consider a 7-day bike race to have a mechanical like that, like a Joey move. Like, because that happens, right? Like, I've had that happen on just a normal trail ride. Just one little stick ruins your derailleur. But I might say, and I say this like with a bit tongue because I'm like, Paul, you did good, man. I might give you the nutrition. Messing that up the multiple days, that's unfortunate.
Day one, that was my own fault. But the float plane thing, like they fully apologized and everything because that was on them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I apologize as you ride. Sorry, go ahead, Shane.
Yeah, I feel bad about giving Joey of the Week to any of that. I don't think it deserves Joey of the Week. You did some pretty good racing there. Maybe for choosing the wrong derailleur hanger to throw in your bag.
That was definitely a Joey move. But like, who knew that Shimano hangers and SRAM hangers are different now? Isn't that nuts?
I always get the derailleur hanger specific to my bike.
But I did.
Well, like, and that's the thing. Paul built his bike, right? So.
Oh yeah.
I know what's interesting is I realize now, like in my bike, there was like a bunch of derailleurs, and I was like, oh man, they really think I'm going to screw this up. Now I realize, they might actually have different purposes. I had no idea.
Yeah, go and check them.
Yeah. All right. Well, Shane, did you have any Joey moments?
I've rode pretty stellar the past 2 weeks.
Wait,
I don't know. Did I?
God, come on. Okay.
It's been a while.
I just want to. I'm going to broach this subject tentatively.
Do it.
I just did. Well, technically it was 8 days of mountain biking, but that one day was like a 10-minute sprint, right? Mm-hmm. 7 days of mountain biking. According to Sid and Mackey's videos, it was 300 kilometers of mountain biking, 10,000 meters of climbing. I think it's a little bit less, but it's still a lot. Shane, you went for a 30-mile bike ride and you couldn't finish it.
I did finish it. We've already talked about this. I just took me 2 months to put that video out.
Oh, really? Is that
Yeah, we've already talked about this race.
okay?
Sounds like there's some beef coming out on the podcast.
It sounds like you didn't finish the video because I totally pushed through the dark places. And
no, finished. I know, but you had such a hard time with it. That's what I was like. I was sat there like, this doesn't sound like the Shane I know. Like
you on our trails, 30 miles on our trails out here that aren't real trails, according to Paul the punter.
And that's 50 kilometers if you're not good at conversions there, Paul.
Thanks. That was actually very helpful.
I will admit I did overplay the drama on that video, though. I was like, oh, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to die. And then I put the piano music over it. Like, don't
worry. I've already found my heartbreak piano piece of music for
perfect
my breakdown. So, yeah.
Do you have an inspirational follow-up to that?
In what sense?
Or are you just going to end it like, I'm pissed? Or is it going to be like, I finished? Dun, 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 dun,
I don't know. Like, I mean, back to the race. This is what was always going to happen. But like, when I crossed the line, I didn't feel a real, like, that much of a sense of satisfaction. Because I wanted to do it as fast as I could, and I didn't. So I was like, oh, because I don't think finishing the race was actually that hard. Some people took 8 hours a day.
Finishing the race or finishing the day?
So finishing both? The race. Well, both, I guess. You can't do one without the other, I guess.
You know, last week, Josh and I were saying, we're like, we could probably just show up to BC Bike Race and do it.
You could. Like, Paul, you were just about to say that.
You could take 8 hours a day.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what you were going to say, right, Paul? Like, people took all day.
Yeah, like, and do you know what the kind of the funniest thing? Well, like, I don't know, not like laugh at them funny, but it would be like they've been racing for 8 days and then they do a sprint finish.
Everybody,
that was like everyone was like, where was the effort before?
The greatest entertainment, go to the end of a 5K and like the people who are taking like 2 hours, they're like, man, they're running so fast at the end here. They must have been rolling before then because they should not be this far behind.
That's so funny. Yeah. But I mean, great work to them. There were some people there and I would just thought like, God, couldn't you have gone and done something like a little more achievable? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and like had a more moderate challenge, but they still went for it. So I guess, kudos to them.
Yeah, it's probably a bucket list thing for them, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was great. Like I look back and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, but there was maybe a little too much gravel grinding. And I think that's what you were rewarded for.
You were cross-country racing.
Yeah.
No, but like there's a different, like the Squamish stage, it was like you have this big climb, then some single track, then something technical, then a bit of a climb, then a trail. There was like lots of, it wasn't just like gravel, trail, which was one of the days. It was climb, trail.
Yeah.
Whereas the Squamish one, it just had like, it was, ebbs and flows. So it balanced it out a little bit more, which is why I probably had my best day there. I mean, I know I ride there all the time, but I imagine the trails aren't very technical, the ones we did, but yeah.
Well, Paul, we will give you Joey of the Week, but we'll kind of put an asterisk there that it's not because you deserve it. It's just because I didn't do anything either that was very Joey related.
I mean, really, the Joey move was last week with me recording the Joey podcast, which I feel is a somewhat ironic.
So if that's 2 weeks in a row, Paul, you have to ride a 26-inch downhill bike for the rest of your life.
Sorry, oh my God. I can't imagine anything worse.
But Paul, one more response to your BC bike racing. I am praying, I'm wishing on a star, I am hoping in all ways possible and shaking that magic 8-ball that you do not have a mechanical during the EWS 100. I want your best performance to see how we all compare. I want us all not to have an issue. Somebody will though.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be very funny. I do think it's funny that Ryan is already afraid of riding a bike 25 minutes down a hill.
To be fair, Ryan, the Lone Ranger, is afraid of the stage that goes from top of the world to the bottom of Whistler Bike Park. That is insanity.
Yeah, that's
I
a
feel-
long stage.
Yeah, it's a long time, but also there's a lot of time to recover. You know what I mean? There's a lot of times that you can just sit down and do nothing, and you can pace it. You know what I mean? You're not like you're not gonna sprint for 3 minutes like you would in another enduro race. Do you know what I mean? And the day is by itself. Like that's all you have to do.
Are you sure that's correct?
Yeah, it's separate. It's separate. So they have. That's what they said in the group chat. Anyway, there's 4 stages on a set on Sunday, and then Saturday is just the mega day. But yeah.
The fun part is I think I'm going to be riding some of these trails blind, unfortunately. So we'll see how that goes.
We should come up. We should do a full run preview.
I would love to if I could. Moving on. Okay. We had a couple of comments submitting their Joey of the Week moments, and we had a couple of winners, guys. And by winners, I mean losers. All right, first up is James. James Salyards? I think that's right. So I went biking about 3 weeks ago, and I got a flat, so I put my spare in, and then did a jump and landed flat and got another flat tire.
Oh, that's the worst.
It's pretty Joey, right? You put it in a tube and then you don't like give any caution and you just make it go flat.
Yeah.
Chump MTB, it was also 3 weeks ago for him. Maybe they were riding together. He said, but I was at a bike park and my rear brake failed at the top. I was limping my bike down the service road that runs under the lift. Naturally, I washed out going 5 miles an hour directly under a chairlift full of riders. Pretty sure I heard, I remember my first beer.
That's pretty Jerry. That's pretty Jerry.
That's we've all seen that guy. And last one, Flatwoods Mountain Bike said, Joey of the Week, whoever uploads the podcast and it not being properly indexed, so it's not on Google Podcasts. Is he talking all of our podcasts or just the one I uploaded? Because I uploaded the last one, and I'm sorry.
I don't know, because it's Anchor. We use Anchor FM for those interested in podcasting.
Yeah.
And it seeds it out to everything. And I don't really understand what he means by indexed as well.
Probably just showing up on Google Podcasts, probably.
Okay, we'll look into it, shall we? We'll look into it.
But he also had a Joey moment. He said his was washing his bike, cleaning the chain, which some people take it off and put it in like a bottle, then running the chain back through the derailleur the wrong way, and it taking way too long to figure out what was wrong with my shifting.
that is a good one.
Yeah, I thought I went over this metal piece, not under it, and then the whole time it's just been there. All right, so Paul, your biking in the last 2 weeks took you to BC Bike Race. Anywhere else it took you this last week?
Well, yeah, last week I was recovering, so I didn't really do that much. But hey, I have had some. You'll enjoy this, guys, seeing as you were so kind to me about the bike race emotional roller coaster. I had suspension problems with my Ransom.
It figures,
but. I found
wait. What was the problem?
Okay.
I had too much PSI. I didn't have enough PSI. I didn't have a volume reducer.
So I actually tried all of the above.
Oh my gosh.
But really what was happening, I'd sent it, I figured something was wrong. I sent it back to Fox and they were like, no, it's fine. We did a lower service, sent it back. It was still wrong. It was almost like, what's the word? Like regressive, not progressive. It was like regressive.
Oh yeah. So, harder at the beginning of the stroke, easier at the end.
Yeah, there you go. And I kept going. I was like, I asked like World Cup mechanics that live in Squamish. And I was like, look, please tell me this is just me. And they would bounce around and they're like, nah, this isn't right either. And then I eventually took it to, here's going to be a shout out, Vorsprung Suspension.
We're not sponsored.
Not #not just generally nice guys. And I went there and they like looked at it and they were like, I don't know, we can't feel something that road. And they went, do you know what? We're going to take it apart and we're just going to re-grease everything. And they took it apart and apparently the seals were completely bone dry.
From Fox.
Yeah. And they were like, yeah, we just lubed up those seals and now it's feeling incredible.
Isn't Fox notorious for like packing their forks and shocks just full of grease?
I think I have heard that from years ago. I heard like they take the uppers and just have this huge tub of grease and just
Dip
like
'em.
dip it in. I've also heard. I mean, this is unfounded. The lovely people at Fox that helped me with a couple of other things were very helpful and very lovely people. I have to say, should this ever come out and be turned against me in the future, they were very nice guys. I have heard from other people that say that Fox have stopped doing this to the seals because it leaves kind of a residue, bit of oil on the stanchions. You know what I mean? Like those little rings. And apparently people think that the seals are blown when that happens, even though it's not at all. So they stopped doing it.
Stopped greasing?
Stopped lubing up the O things. I don't know. But this is just what happened to me. This is just my experience. But thanks to the Vorsprung guys, my bike is now feeling incredible. And I'm having a fantastic time here in Whistler, which is where I am right now. If anyone's wondering, this is the Ava Hotel in Whistler. That's why it's not my garage. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Hashtag sponsored?
Hashtag discount.
Discount. That's a great
discount on room. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's
speaking of like the suspension stuff and you being super picky about everything and one click here and one click there. One of my most favorite things to watch are those Fox videos, the like dialed videos with Jordy. And I would love to see you with Jordy, just saying. And it's hilarious to see like downhill races like, oh, I think we need one click this way. And then like they go ride it. And it's like, oh, so much better. And he's like, dude, this is your settings I gave you last week. I don't know.
Yeah. Some people have said that he's the best psychologist on the World Cup circuit.
It's amazing.
When your job is just counseling divas more than fixing their bikes. Shane, where'd you ride this week?
Oh, I went up to Powderhorn, our local park, just an hour away, and I raced the downhill, the first race of the downhill series on my short travel 29er.
So wait,
you raced? Where did this come from?
Well, first, why did you race on a short travel 29er over your longer travel 27.5?
It's listed for sale, so I'm keeping it pristine in the garage.
New bike coming soon?
Well, I don't know. I'll probably just ride this short travel 29er for quite a while.
Shane, can you please use the appropriate language for it?
Oh, the grape smuggler. I'm just kidding.
It's the down. It's the down.
I hate the down country. No, I just want to call it an all mountain bike.
A transition smuggler is not a down country bike.
It is a down country bike.
No, it's not.
It is.
Okay. No, rail bike.
Name one cross country racer who is like legitimate, a professional that rides that.
That's because that's cross country, not down country.
Screw that. It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Yeah, okay, everyone in the chat, the comments, go. If you're listening on Spotify or you've subscribed and given us a 5-star rating on iTunes, please pop over to the YouTube video and comment below, is the Transition Smuggler a downcountry machine?
It's a 2015 Transition Smuggler, so it only has 115 millimeters in the rear.
How much in the front?
It's supposed to be 130, but I popped it out to 140.
Is down country
for the racing.
Oh,
and I also
no.
Yes.
I also threw one of those headset things in there that slacks it out by 1.5 degrees to put it at 66 degrees.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Angle set is what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's not the Cane Creek one. The Cane Creek one's super creaky. I got the Works, I think.
So back
and then
wait,
and
go
then
ahead.
Sorry, I mean, I totally was like, I'm gonna be racing on this thing. I want to pimp it out a little bit. So I pushed it out, I slacked it out, and I put like these giant BMX style riser bars on there.
No, that's dumb.
50 mil riser bars. Oh,
no, I've seen those. They're not.
Wait, what? If you already have like an overforked bike with a slackened head angle, why would you need risers?
Well, it's still quite low.
When you slack it out, yeah, it's low already. But then if I were to slack it out, it lowers it just a little bit. And because the angle set kind of brings it closer to you in reach. So if you slam your stem down, that it increases your reach. And then I put in we're talking about gear now. It's getting a little bit.
No. Because I've seen the last segment here, and this is fantastic clickbait. I can already see it, so we have to do it. I have to turn this light.
Paul's just, I have to make sure the lighting is good for this video podcast because Paul's got a face for radio.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, this doesn't work. Okay. All right. We'll just have to rely on natural light then.
Okay.
Wait,
All right.
Keep talking.
So Shane, you have this overclocked short travel 29er and you
Yeah.
raced a downhill race.
Okay, so I did that 30-mile backcountry ride, downcountry ride, whatever you want to call it. It was technically a race. I didn't do so well. I did our local enduro. I crashed and broke stuff. And I'm like addicted to racing now. Like I went up and did this downhill race. I've registered for the series. I'm going and doing a race in Utah next weekend. That's like an actually legitimate enduro race that I had to like put in for a lottery. Like I'm hooked. I love it. Even though I've kind of backed off and I'm like, I don't want to push myself too hard because I'll just crash. I'm really just there to have fun and ride and be with the bros. But man, racing there's something about it. It's just so fun.
It's an addicting culture, man. It's fun to push yourself and just see how good you can do.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't recommend racing downhill on a short travel 29er or a down country bike, whatever you want to call it, but it still got me by. I got 5th place.
Yeah. Wait, 5th out of how many?
That's usually what I leave for the end of the conversation. I'll say I got 5th place out of 7.
Okay.
Well, the thing is I was expecting last place, which, I'd be completely fine with. I was totally expecting last place. Last year, I did it on my crap hardtail for my 400 subscriber celebration. And I got last place at that. But so last year I got a 10-minute run, and then this year I got 6:45. So,
well, that's a good increase. Wait, yeah. How is that out of 7?
It's the first race season. Not very many people showed up. There's pro men, amateur men, junior men, and the old guys, and then the women. So it's like categories are spread.
So you did amateur men?
No, surely you were in the down country category, I would imagine.
No, they're talking about doing like a hardtail category and a chainless category.
Oh yeah,
but then there's only gonna be like 3 riders in every category if we start doing that. But
awesome.
I don't know. I was still stoked on not getting last. If I would have got last, I probably would have been happy too. But
great job, Shane.
The best thing was just being out there with friends. And yeah.
Here in Bellingham, they started doing local races on Wednesday nights, so I may enter tomorrow to get my enduro blood running for the EWS 100.
Is there a hardtail category?
No, it's just open, like for everyone.
So you'll be riding your sponsor-specific bike.
Well, both my hardtail and my full suspension bike are sponsor-specific.
I forgot. NS? Are you going to ride your full sus tomorrow? Tomorrow?
Probably, yes. Paul, you look like you're leaning in to say something.
When are you entering the cross country race that you promised all the listeners?
I still need to do that. It's kind of like entering. I can't even think. It just pains me so much to think about.
I'd love to do race cross country race with you.
I mean, if you want to see my butt the whole time.
How would I see that?
With my 33-pound chromoly steel hardtail.
I don't understand. I rarely look behind me when I'm racing.
The funny thing is, I would argue, I could be wrong on this, that my hardtail's wheelbase is longer than your Genius's.
Probably not my Genius. Maybe my Spark. But the Genius has a 65-degree head angle. Don't forget.
I think my hardtail does as well, or 65.5. Anyway, I need to share where I rode this last week. I might do that race tomorrow. I think I should, just for the Joey-ness.
Definitely go and do it. Make a video. Make a video.
And I was gonna bring some gardening gloves, just as a shout out to my friend Shane.
and then have your riding gloves as backup, just in case you forget your gardening gloves.
Yep. No, I did a couple of rides this last week. I did a redemption ride because what I was going to share last week, I went on a ride with my friend. He's a neighbor, Chris. He just built up a new bike. He was all stoked. He ordered a new frame. It's a Pivot something. Anyway, so he builds it up. He's like, okay, let's go ride this trail that not a lot of people ride. For those in Bellingham, it's called Cougar Ridge. It's like on a side of Galbraith people don't go to. So the only way to get there is like climbing a ton. So I was like, hey, we should try like parking at the bottom of it. That's going to be way better. It's going to be way faster. This is not a total Joey moment, but a little bit of one. So anyway, we start out and we ended up doing like, I thought it was going to be a quick ride. It was like 2,200 feet of vertical and long distances. And it was hot and muggy. It was beautifully terrible. It was great.
Those are the best rides, the ones that are beautifully terrible.
Yeah. And it was an adventure because we didn't know, like we had never ridden from that side. So we were just figuring it out. And like, that was the joy, right? It's like you and a friend on a new trail. Like I'd ridden the main trail, but trying to figure out where to go. It's like, that was good times. So that was my ride for the week.
Great stuff. Okay, let's get straight to the clickbait. How far are we in? 54 minutes into the podcast?
We might just need to save it for next time unless you want to jump into it.
No, we have to have it at the end just for the meme because there'll be that guy that comments like, oh, if you want to hear what they're talking about in the title, it's at blah, blah, blah minutes.
Oh, Paul's just talking about weeping on the side of the trail and the other guys are being nice to him for some reason.
What the hell is this podcast? This is not what I subscribed for. Okay, here we go. Game changers. Bike upgrades that are game changers. So key.
I wrote this question because if I had $1 for every time Paul said, Josh, absolute game changer. I did this and my bike is like, oh my gosh, so much better.
True. It's so true though. Shall I list them out for you now? I've got them off.
Please.
Top of my head.
Let's just go.
Number 1, sintered metallic brake pads.
AKA just metallic brake
Yeah, they're
pads.
just the metal ones.
Well, I should have said sintered / metallic because in the UK we call them sintered, I think. I don't know how widespread that is, but that is the technical term.
I think the first time I rode with you was my first time to Whistler, and literally like halfway down the trail, or it was somewhere, Paul just goes, guys, did you realize metallic brake pads are far superior? And all of us are like, we're all running metallic brake pads. No one runs resin. And Paul's like, oh my gosh, how did no one tell me this? It's like, did you miss the seaplane? Did you miss the floater plane, Paul? Come on.
I almost did. That's why the BC Bike Race got it. Way! Because guides come with organic pads, so I figured, that's the ones you're meant to use. I was like, they're more expensive because you change them more often, but like, they must be better. Yeah. Taking tokens out of suspension, that was also a game changer.
Taking them out?
Yeah.
How many tokens did you take out to be a game changer?
All of them. All of them now.
How many were in there?
I had in a 34 I have one. In my 36 I have none.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What else? And low rise bar.
Well, hold on. Why is
it's so funny that you say high rise bars, Shane, because like I lowered my bars on everything and I feel so much more stable and competent for sure.
I feel like if you put organic brake pads, a high-rise bar, and like 1,000 tokens in my bike, I would be like, this feels a little different, but it's fine.
Well, that sounds like a video waiting to be made.
Paul's worst nightmare.
Paul downgrades my bike in every way possible.
All right, I'll go next. So number one game changer for me that I can think of is something legitimate, unlike Paul, is Cushcore. Paul, don't worry. You're legitimate, but you're just legitimately a diva. Lower rise bars, the 10 millimeters make a difference. Anyway.
It does.
It does. I took one token out. It feels amazing. Anyway, for me, Cushcore, I dented so many rims. Every used bike I ever sold had at least like 4 dents in the rear tire.
Well, that's not really helping your cause to sell more bikes now.
Well, don't worry. All my bikes run Cushcore now. Because I would sell them and I would feel bad. I'd point it out, but it was because I would try to run like ridiculously low air pressures, like, 29 PSI or 28 PSI, which is
what?
Yeah, and that's my joke, right? Is like that's what I would run.
Oh, okay.
And I would get dents in my rims. And so I put Cushcore in, and people are like, yeah, you can go like 5 less PSI. So now I run 24 PSI on my rear tire, have loads more grip, and I don't get like, I have carbon rims on my Enduro, my full suspension bike, but I haven't hurt my rims since I put them on. I've been running Cushcore for like a year now. So that for me, biggest game changer. The second thing is a Joey move that totally changed my life mountain biking. It was getting a good pair of mountain bike shoes. I rode like Nike running shoes on my mountain bike for so long. And I literally, every time I saw 510s, I just thought, these morons are paying $100 for what looked like 2004 skate shoes. Like, do people realize they look so stupid? And then I went to bike shops and people are wearing their free riders. And I was like, literally, like the lamest kid in my middle school would wear shoes like that. And then I don't know why I found a pair of 510s for $30, like clearance, like crazy deal. So I bought them and instantly I was like, I have made a terrible mistake, and changed my life. Yeah, those are the two biggest things. Literally all I could think about.
Wow. Well, I'll go next. For me, first, high-rise bars.
That's so wrong.
Okay, no,
I'm still against that too, Shane. Like, I think you're a dummy, dude.
Hold up.
You're insane. You're insane.
I will say high-rise bars because it allowed me to slam the stem and keep the same bar height from ground to grip.
And why does the same bar height from ground to grip matter?
Because it's the same as with my regular bars, but I was able to slam the stem down to give me a little bit extra reach, especially with the angle set headset.
But I don't think most people get on a bike and go, man, my hands feel very high from the ground right now.
I did.
No, wait.
Oh gosh, Paul, no, you don't count.
The point is, I didn't change height when I changed handlebars, even though and I'm just messing with you saying high-rise handlebars, but I will take a jab at the Cushcore. I'm going to say not Cushcore. Because, well, okay, I do damage rims as well, but I ruined 2 rims, even with Cushcore, running 28 PSI. Yeah, I just don't think it's worth. I think it's just too much extra weight.
No, if you ran 28
it's like
PSI,
half a pound.
You've done something terribly wrong. If you get a dent rim,
come to Grand Junction.
Yeah, Josh. To be fair, there's a lot of rocks there. I can I can almost see it, but also, do you know what else stops your rims from denting?
You just ride better.
Air.
Well, okay. So
tires. Checking your air pressure regularly.
Every ride.
For me, that comes down to I run at least 30 PSI in the rear.
That's crazy. That's
in Grand Junction. So
when I came, I ran 24 in the back, 22 in the front.
But you walked all the gnarly stuff. Okay, moving on.
That's fair.
Crashing dad is becoming the grouchy dad. He's like, I'm right, you guys, no Cushcore.
Well, okay, I'm just saying, like, for me, that
redemption.
So wait.
Come back.
Wait. Shane, what PSIs do you run?
I run 30 and 26.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Yeah. I run 24 and 19.
What? That's even more insane.
Okay, so I'm gonna get onto my third game change. It's not really game changers, but I've learned that I love a skinny tire in the rear. I like the 2.3. I love the feeling of the 2.3 in the rear at 30 PSI with no Cushcore. It's lighter, and I still feel like I have great grip. That's predictable, but skinny tires, 2.3 is the new hot trend on 26-inch wheels.
How wide is that? Sorry, I was taking it back because you said something foreign to me in terms of wheel size. What? How wide are your rims? That's the other question.
Oh, the rims I'm running are 29 millimeter internal width, so they're still decently big.
You have triangle tires?
No. Oh.
They're so wide that the tire actually points in.
No.
That is a pretty wide rim for a 2.3, Shane.
Yeah, it's decently wide, but I like the precision feeling tire in the back with high PSI.
Also, I'm pretty sure you can't run anything wider than a 2.3 on your Smuggler.
That's true. You know, that actually forced me to try it, and that's when I was like, I like the feeling of a skinny tire. I actually got a 2.25 that I run as well. That's really fun.
See, that's skinnier. I feel like 2.3 is pretty standard now.
Yeah. Well, and I also have an extra set of wheels up here that I'll be running that have like a 21 millimeter internal width that I'll run skinny tires on, like a 2.25 and then a 2.3.
That sounds like a kick in the nuts, dude.
It does. But at least for me in the rear, no Cushcore, 2.3 tires, and at least 30 psi. Total game changers. It's 2020, man.
Yeah, it sounds like you're living in 2010. Oh my gosh.
No, but seriously, all of the giving shit aside, for me, game changer, rev grips. I'll just say that.
How many
like
pro racers use rev grips?
I don't know any pro racers, so.
Ooh, hey.
Paul, how many pro racers?
None.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because they seem to survive.
Well,
I'm pretty sure I spoke to one pro racer that said that he literally can't race because of the arm pump. And I said, why don't you get rev grips? And he went, oh, but they don't sponsor me, so
yeah,
I won't run them.
They don't pay out the money.
Yeah. But yeah.
I'm curious to try them. Like, I really would like to try them long term because I don't know if I believe it. I'm not like against it. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Brian tried them and then he took them off.
He didn't have the right things for his bars, his IBIS bars.
Wait, I thought he got them.
Yeah, because he has the extension or whatever for his IBIS
which is ridiculous. I can't get on board with that. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Just have one bar width and be a dick about it. Isn't that the rule? I thought.
I think so.
Yeah.
But okay, so with the rev grips, I will say, I prefer the feeling of the ESI grips, and I prefer the feeling of the Ergon grips.
The foam grips.
Yeah, I like the foam grips, and I like the ESI, like pretty much all the ESI grips. I love the way they feel when I hold them, but after an hour of riding, I get severe hand pain in my thumb. And then with the rev grips, I don't like the way they feel. I put my hands on them. You know, when you're testing out grips, I absolutely hate the way that they feel. But I can go 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of riding, and I don't have that pain that I get after an hour of riding with just regular grips. So that's the game changer for me.
Well, there you go. That's fair enough. Can I just jump on one more that I'm about to find out if it's going to be more of a game changer?
It won't be, but you're going to say it is anyway.
You guys, I feel like you're going to be on board with this one. Is as dropper posts have got longer, it's just kind of got better and better, I feel.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say...
That's my one. So like having a 170 mil dropper versus a 150, I'm about... OneUp are going to give me the 210 one, and they reckon that it can go all the way down, slam down to the thing. But then if it's too long, they're just going to shim it so it doesn't go up as high. But I'm curious because like I love a low saddle from dirt jumping and BMX years. So I think that getting a appropriate dropper post for you, I think that's a game changer.
Yeah, I personally would not say that like a 150 to a 170 is a game changer. I thought it was, but then I recently went back to a 150 after being on 170s. And for like 2 rides, I was like, can't do it. This is awful. Can't do it. And then you're like, no, this isn't too bad. Like would I prefer 210? Yes, absolutely. 10 times over. But it's not that much of like a world changer.
I feel like between 125 and 150 is super noticeable.
Yeah, but then I still think that 150 to 170 was noticeable.
But 200 would be amazing.
And then I've even got a 180 on my cross country bike, and that's like noticeable again. It's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah, OneUp nailed it too with the ability to step it down as much as you need. Like that was really smart because most people, like I was going to say, don't get too comfortable with 210 because if you have a bike frame that can't handle it, but that's
so OneUp has like the shortest insertion length, and the collar to rails is the shortest out of anyone.
Shane, you're not sponsored by these guys. You can't talk too highly of them.
I love me a good long dropper post. Like so, the Fox Transfer, the collar to rail measurement is the same. 150 Fox Transfer to a 170 OneUp. Like,
yeah,
why would you not?
Yeah,
it's not like, sponsored.
Obviously, I am sponsored by them, but like
what?
But here's the thing: like that is something that you like. That dropper post is something that you just can't argue with. Like everything about it is like pretty bulletproof. I've always said like it's just like they just killed it. It's nuts. But yeah, that would be a great game changer. Hey, are we wrapping it up? Is this coming towards the end?
It is.
Did someone write us an outro? Do we still do that? I've been gone for 2 weeks. What do we do, guys? How does this podcast work?
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, bye.
Bye.